recording though, see what happens.
Go ahead. I want to welcome all of you to, officially welcome all of you to physical meeting of the Granbury Stamp Group. It's good to see all of you and be able to be in the same room with you.
It's different.
You don't have to talk over Zoom. That's great. I think what we'll do is we'll go around the room with show and tell, but while you're doing the show and tell, share with us any of your adventures that you've had over the last year that we haven't been together. You care to do that? So, Gene, you want to start? Then we'll let you keep notes and pass those on. So,
Yep, I got it.
Thank you.
I'll take care of that. Well, for the last year and a half, I guess I haven't done much except sit in the house, watch television, read some books, listen to some music.
Watch more television.
Watch more television.
That's same with me.
Play with my stamps.
And read more books.
I discovered that I could sit at that desk from early morning until lunchtime and never noticed the passage of time, just have it all. So that's just great. I've been a homebody most of my life anyway. I've never been a social butterfly, so didn't change much in my routine. I've got a big collection of Russia going down. So if you ever run across accumulations of Russia, we'll latch on to them if there's a good price on them. I'm even learning to read a little bit of that alphabet, which is imperative if you're going to collect Russia, I'll tell you that.
all right. Thank you, Gene. Joe, we usually do a show and tell, and also tell us about yourself, because this is the first official meeting you've been to. Been a member now for a year, I guess.
Almost, yeah. Well, I've been an off and on stamp collector my entire life. With auctions, I've actually been to the National Postal Museum in DC, so you know that says something. But my father-in-law passed away a year and a half ago, and he was a specialist collector. I don't think that the caliber some of you guys are, but he'd collect until he had a collection. Then he'd jump to something else and collect that. Until he thought he was done, he'd collect something else. So there's a plenty of collections of things, of US, of men, of Jews, I mean, you name it, he's got some of them. And he passed, and none of his 4 daughters had anything installed in it. I just money us. So I do both things, personal interest and also kind of financial interest in marketing some of this stuff. So I'm learning as I go. And COVID didn't affect me much because I've got a big garden and the other rats I see them go. COVID didn't affect the cattle, so I kept doing that anyway. Feed stores are open. So been doing good. Glad to be here.
Okay, Bob, anything to show and tell, or you're just gonna tell us?
Not really, I could tell, but I'm glad to be back, that's one thing. Over the last year and a half, you know, before that, I was a guy at Fossil Rim. I haven't been back to Fossil Rim in a year and a half. And getting ready to, I've had all my shots, have all the stuff ready, but I've been going through some physical stuff that eventually it'll be okay. So once that's done, I've been, the good thing about the last year and a half, if we can look at good things, it gave me the time to go through a lot of collections in the stamps that I had just piling up, you know, and so I've been sorting and putting stuff in the place they should be. And that's kept me pretty well occupied, you know, as far as not getting out. But if that's a good thing, I guess that's part of it. But as far as getting out and around, you know, this whole last year has been really boring. Really boring for me anyway, because I'm usually out and around and going think I pulled every weed in my yard twice. So, anyway, but it's good to be back. Stanley, all yours.
Okay, well, we've kind of been just the opposite. Judy and I like to eat out, and the minute the restaurants opened, we were back eating out 2, 3, maybe sometimes 4 times a week. And we go to the movie every week. And when Cinemark opened back up a few months ago, we were first ones there. And so we really haven't let the pandemic slow us down much. I have been working on my 4.5-cent pre-cancel collection. I had a dealer send me a listing of Kansas stamps. This so I put together all the pre-cancels, and of course, in one of the columns was a 4.5-center. And he had what he had and what I had. I'm up to 1,300 different 4.5-cent White House pre-cancel stamps from Kansas alone. So I've been working on my albums. What I do is I have 30 stamps per page, and when I get a picture on eBay, I download it, post it to my albums, and every now and then I'll run off a page, and that's how much pretty much what I've been doing during the pandemic is just taking care of my 4.5-cent collection. I went through some of the club stuff, and it's in the auction at Arlington. But that's about it too. But we didn't hold up. Judy and I went out, and we got our shots as soon as we could. And I don't think Judy will ever slow down.
Rick,
Well, I pretty much have to agree with Gene. I guess for the last 40 years, I've been doing aircraft design work and sitting my butt in front of a computer all day long. Well, I've since retired from that, but now I'm still sitting in front of a computer looking at YouTube videos and stamps online, and I'm amazed at the number of collectors there are online and the number of organizations there are that are putting out videos and that sort of thing related to our hobby. So it's really amazing. If you get on YouTube and just look around sometimes, type in philately and you'll see what I mean. There's just all kinds of stuff out there available, and it's mesmerizing. I found I can sit in front of a computer at home for 12 hours a day now instead of at a airplane company. So that's pretty much what I've been doing. I've had some stuff that I've had sitting around for years too that I'm starting to go through, and that takes time, so I'm busy, and it gives me an excuse not to take my wife out to dinner. So but now I'm not getting away with that quite as much. So
okay, Fred?
Well, due to some underlying medical conditions, I didn't leave the house much for the first year. I went through a lot of drive-throughs and got food to take home, but didn't actually go in any places. And I appreciate your Stanley, being courageous to do what you did in spite of anything that was on the news. I appreciate that deeply. I do have a show and tell item I can send around. This package that Rick has, this is one thing that I took out of it. I had a Swedish exchange student that lived with me for 9 months while he was going to high school. And he was a junior. After he finished high school, he went to King's College in England
And then he was drafted into the Swedish Army. So this letter is from where he was stationed in Kosovo with the UN forces that were there. I hadn't heard from him in about 6 years, and in the letter that's there, he says, it feels really strange to write to you after all this time, but he wanted to thank me and my ex-wife for taking care of him. And now he's the assistant deputy in charge of military preparedness for Sweden. So he's about, he'd be 48 or 49 years old, married, got several kids. But it's nice to have the remembrance and the UN Kosovo cancellation on the envelope.
Okay. That must have been a while ago that we did that.
That was in 90. Yeah. Yeah, so they make him about 48 or 49.
Good.
But he's a published author. You can look him up on YouTube, and he's there. He lived in Washington DC for a while. His wife worked for the Swedish embassy, and so he taught at Georgetown for a while. So he's finished his PhD. He's really proud of him and proud of any part that my ex-wife and I might have had in his success.
Okay, thank you, Fred. Denny?
Okay, first I'll pass this around. I passed it around so many years ago, nobody's going. But it is a 1982 postcard made of postage stamps. And it's a picture of a Viking. And I thought, wow, that's really neat the way that they did that. But it's something that's obviously took a lot of work to make that up. All I've done in the last year and a half is watch television because we don't go anywhere. We went to see my son, and for a while we quit seeing them because they had friends that caught COVID. so it was just do things by ourselves and try and be careful on it. We really would have felt bad if we had passed it on to somebody.
Okay, thank you, Danny.
I got my shot early when it started. My wife never did get hers. She just wouldn't go out and see anybody.
A lot of people did that.
Yeah.
Okay, Jim?
I got my 2 shots here in Granbury. You know, they had a, I thought, a real smooth operation in Granbury. Somebody said to me where we lived that, well, it's about time we were one of the last, but to me, they did a beautiful job. We walked in table to table and it was super. Anyway, in reference to stamps, about a week or 3 ago, I was getting into my collection and found some new sports collected and wanted to create some pages. My computer, for some reason, doesn't talk to my printer anymore. And maybe it was when we had the shortage of the electricity off, you know, I don't know. I don't know anybody, but anyway, we called somebody. It was a 2 or 3 week wait for him, and he's gonna charge us $146 an hour.
Jeez.
Yeah, but we called 2 or 3, and they're roughly the same. Hello with that, you know? So we've had to save up, and I went to Neighbors with the tin cans.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, time, bragging a little bit, we had our second great grandchild born.
All right.
Little girl, just last week. So kind of happy about that. However, she was a premature birth. It took her a little bit early, so as a consequence, she has yellow jaundice a little bit. It's been back and forth, but she's a cute little girl. Of course, I'm not prejudiced. You know, I was listening to y'all talk about collections, etc. However, you ever see that television program with the two guys that travel all over the United States looking at this junk with these guys?
American pickers.
The American pickers. Oh my gosh. Talk about collections, huh?
They
Y'all
spend a
ever
lot of
seen
money.
that? Oh,
Yeah, they
my
spend a lot of
God,
money.
unbelievable.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, I guess. But my gosh, these guys climb to the rafters with some of this stuff, you know. How do you accumulate that? What are you gonna do with all that? You know, seriously, if they weren't there, what are you gonna do with it? Your son probably doesn't want it, or your daughter. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, they're coming to my house next week.
Pardon me?
They're coming to my house next week.
Yeah. Sorry, okay. All right, I'll shut up. But anyway, that's all I have. I think that's it. I worked on my collection a little bit, not a lot, and I'm waiting for my pacemaker is done, it's up, and I'm waiting for them to tell me that it's time for it's low enough for Medicare to pay for it. So there you go. That's it.
Well, congratulations on the granddaughter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
really.
you, thank you. She's actually, excuse me,
Great granddaughter.
great granddaughter. She's actually named after both grandpas, me being one, and Olivia is her first name. James is her second name, Olivia James. And the day that she was born, the Oliver passed away. He was 103.
Wow.
And it was on her husband's side, my son-in-law's great son-in-law, whatever he is, side. So he was at the funeral list today. But in any event, that was amazing. He passed away the day that she was born. He was 103. That's amazing. I don't know if I want to live that long.
No, that's 10 years. It's gonna be.
Yeah. So, thank you. That's it. Sorry.
You know who wants to be 103 now?
Pardon me?
You know who wants to be 103?
No.
The person that's 102.
Yeah. That's about right. Yeah.
And I understand, Jim, that your computer's got COVID.
Yeah, that.
And I'm not-
Lord.
I'm not sure they got any shots.
Yeah, I know.
Good luck to you.
Yeah. $100 and some odd, I'll tell you what.
I don't have anything for show and tell, but regarding activities during this pandemic, I gotta say that shortly after our last get-together, which, did we get together in March?
I don't think so. I think February.
February. On the last day of March, I had a severe heart attack. Because of the COVID, they put me on a ventilator. It took 8 days to get the damn results back. I laid there for 8 days, losing all my muscle tone and everything, to learn I didn't have it, so that they could bring me out of it and give me a couple stents in my heart. And they took care of the heart problems. My heart actually stopped at least 2, and some people thought 3 times over the first 2 or 3 days that I was there. Some big guy jumped on me and beat me up. Because when I come out of there, I ached for a month, my chest hurt, where they beat on me. But after they gave me the 2 stints and started me on a whole raft of medications, which I wasn't taking beforehand, I'm still taking 10 different pills at this point. I couldn't take any physical therapy because they were all closed. It wasn't until June or July that I was able to physically get back in shape. But today I'm in better shape than I was a year ago or 2 years ago, because I'm now exercising at least 4 times a week.
You look a lot better than you did.
And I feel a lot better, and I've got all kinds of energy and not sleeping all the time. Got a second lease on life, but bluntly. I'm thankful for. That's my story, and I have spent my time trying to get myself back in shape during this thing, and I think between exercise place over here called Freedom and myself, we've done it. Yeah, so, all right.
You shoot for 103, right?
No.
133.
No, that's good. On a side note to that, though, Gene, my son at my last birthday gave me a present of membership in a genealogical society. And he'd done a lot of research into our family trees. You know, your roots go back, you got many, many roots, not just following one, which is your name, but all of the other avenues, and discovered that we had a great, 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 great grandfather on the Mayflower.
Wow.
He was a cabin boy. He was an indentured servant for some Englishman that was coming on the Mayflower, came here. He had 2 more years to serve of the servitude before he was free, and he was planning on going back to England. Well, the plans didn't materialize. He became free of the servitude responsibilities here and stayed in the United States. And he was a cabin boy, and there's a book written about him because he fell overboard in a storm during the route getting here. And it is a book, there is a book written about him. The name was not Stockbridge, it was something else. But it made me begin to do a little searching. Do you know how many grandfathers you have 9 generations back? 508. Because you have a first 2 grandfathers, you do. So that's 1 generation back. Goes to 4, goes to 8, to 16, 32. You keep going, it's 508 when you get 9 generations back. It's that many roots going back. So there potentially could be as many as 508 different names, last names that you're related to. Also found relations to the Bush family, all being from New England, the same general area of New England, and Grover Cleveland, 2 presidents. Well, just a side note.
Might want to warn you a little bit though. Don't take that DNA test, because you know sometimes they hook you up with somebody you really don't want to get hooked up with.
I've never had that, and never had the desire to.
Law enforcement apparently is happy when people do that, because they find out who's related to some of the top criminals in the world nowadays. And Ancestry.com and some of those things are happy to give that information to law enforcement. So if you don't want to know about certain things, you probably don't want to do that DNA test.
Okay. Well, what announcements we have? We have a stamp meeting in Arlington in 2 weeks, right?
Correct.
Because
And it's gonna be an auction.
and it's gonna be an auction. So that that's gonna occur.
And then the ULIS meeting will be the third Wednesday, and we never do have programs, so we just talk.
Okay.
And if Peter's there, you really get
Yeah.
along.
Yeah. It'd be a long program when Peter's there.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of programs, we haven't got much of a program tonight, just I suggested this clean out your closet thing, which you, if you brought some stuff, you're being able to pass that on, and that's good. I do not have programs set up for the rest of the year yet. So if anybody is willing to do a program, Stanley, you've already, I think, identified that you do one in November, I think you do the debriefing for the
Oh, yeah,
expo,
yeah.
that'll be November.
Okay.
So we do have a program then. October is when we have our picnic. And Jim Myers has offered to do a program for that. He has identified what Jim Myers is a dealer, if you don't know Jim. And he will bring whatever you might be interested in purchasing. If he's got it, just identify him, say, Jim, I want some stuff from such and such a country. And if he's got it, he'll bring stuff for you to look at. That's taken care of, but I do not have a program for next month, which is July or August. I thought we ought to have an auction, and I was thinking about September, Denny. That would take care of September,
I've got a lot of
October,
stuff.
November. Pardon?
I've got a lot of stuff to put in.
Yeah, so, we tell you that up front so that you can think about anything you might want to sell and put in the auction. And we've had some very successful auctions. Things in the $5 to $10 range sell very well. And sometimes they go to $20 and we have them as high as $50.
We're gonna call 100, a pretty big sale.
Have there been?
Yeah.
Okay, and we usually have pretty good attendance at that, so think ahead of time what you might want to get rid of. Put some thought into it, and I'd like a listing to publish of all of the things we're going to have in the auction.
You want us to start bringing that next month, or you want to wait long?
I can. I mean, you just want me to bring the stuff in and
No, for us, I got some things for the auction. We want to get them next
One of
month.
us to know, you want him to bring his in.
Who's gonna store it?
Liz, I don't know if I can remember how to do it.
Denny, you want me to help you put together the list?
Probably have to.
Okay. I'll work with Denny.
I haven't worked on auctions or anything except for the one that I have over in Europe.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get a description of items
Yeah.
and I can store them too, if you want to get rid
I've
of
got
them.
a few things. I'll bring them next time.
Okay, all right. Anybody that wants to bring anything, they can start next month and do it right up until the month before. I mean, we
So
can
we're gonna do it in October, you
we'll
said?
do it in October.
Okay. It's, I just soon get it as quick as possible, and then we can decide on how much we want to put into it.
Yeah,
Did you say that October was Jim Meyer?
In November,
no, Stanley's November, Jim Myers is October. We need to do it in September,
Okay.
September,
we've got plenty of time.
which still gives us, what, 3 months?
Couple of months.
But I need programs in July, August, those 2 times. If anybody wishes to do a program of some kind, they don't have to be long, 15, 20 minutes, can be up to half an hour. We appreciate it. You guys know,
I got tons of videos if you can't get a program, so.
Rick has had a video for us tonight, if we got a way of looking at it.
Well, we don't have a way of doing that except on that little computer I've got.
Yeah.
We'll get the
We haven't figured
projector.
out how to make this work yet.
Yeah, we'll get the other projector in here.
That's a new projector for in here, and the old projector,
Well, that's a nice screen.
it's a good screen, and had, the old projector had the switches and stuff in there, but there's nothing there anymore, and I don't know how it works. I didn't think far enough ahead to ask anybody, but I will ask the keepers of the activity center.
Do we still have the curtains for the door?
I suspect it's still in the closet. I didn't look at it. We've got a curtain to put over the door.
Yeah.
Sun, as you can see, the sun's coming right through right now.
Tough
Yeah.
to see.
This month, and I think the next two, will have the sun on standing eyes.
Yeah, but it's almost there now.
Yeah, it gets too much if you want me to get that curtain, and we can get.
Now we're good.
Can you get the third degree over there?
Yeah, I'll talk. I'll tell you where we're going.
So,
Stanley was kind enough to give me mystery stuff. And that, if anybody else has any donations, I appreciate it.
So that's where Judy.
Yes, Jim is putting together a mystery box, which will be auctioned off at the club expo in November. Or it'll be in the silent
Yeah.
auction. And our club's mystery box has always been one of the most attractive items. Because we put such a,
It actually will be again this year.
quite a variety of stuff that goes in it. But it's all donated stuff, so if you got stuff you want to get rid of, that some other collector might want, put it in it. It'll help the club. All right, any other business or any kind that we need to talk about?
They got the expo.
Okay, you prepared to talk about that,
Yeah.
Stanley?
Yeah, we had a meeting on the 19th, which was Juneteenth. And everything for the show is pretty much on track. We've got a flyer. I'll email one to everybody. But that's the official flyer now. And also we've got the dealer locations. There's going to be 26 dealers. And the exhibits will have their own room now. So I'll pass this around and I'll send you guys a copy of that too. But everything else was pretty much going as advertised. There's some discussion about the cachet. Of course, Dave and I, we have our thoughts on that. But anyway, I'm letting whoever wants to run with the cachet ball run with it. Yeah, but the envelope stuffing will be on at the October Arlington meeting. We'll excuse me. We'll stuff about 600 mailers this year, so we're down 50 from last year, and we'll mail out. I've got about 750 email addresses. Now, I sat down and finished up the club mail out list and from the sign-ins that we had at the November 2020 Expo. And all we could take was their name and their phone number and their email, because the county actually provided the sheets. And that was for COVID. So when I went through them and started logging them in, I was shocked. We had 82 new names that showed up at our expo. We had 130 people who had been there before. Now, they could have also come on Saturday, but I was just amazed that we had 82 new people show up at our expo. We normally average about 30 or 40. So we don't know how we got the information out, but we did something right. So what I'm going to do this year on the registration is I'm going to ask people how they heard about Expo.
Wasn't Expo about the only show all of last year?
Yes, it was the only one in town.
That's nationwide.
Well, almost
I
nationwide.
think so.
There was a St. Louis show. There was a St. Louis show, yeah.
There was a couple, but we did one of the few shows. And it went really well. We did not have exhibits. And we only had 21 dealers. I think we had tables for 22. And one of them had dropped out at the last minute, not because of COVID, but because it came down with something. And that was A to Z back in the far corner.
Yeah, yeah.
And, but we didn't refund his money and he didn't want it back, so. But, and the show also, we actually made money. We made several $100s on the show, believe it or not. So anyway, that's next expo status. I'll bring a worksheet next month for people who'd like to sign up. And we like, encourage everybody to come. That's it.
All right, thank you, Stanley. Any other business?
Yeah, I guess. Since I'm involved primarily with computer crap all the time, the Zoom meetings and that sort of thing, I'd kind of like to run it by you guys to see what you think about us having a normal Zoom meeting, virtual meeting once a month, along with our in-person meetings. So it would just be a Zoom meeting. Anybody in the club could log on and just talk stamps if you want to, So I just wanted to see what you guys thought about it, because you guys down here have really been the best group that's been on Zoom consistently, so.
Would you just kind of do it from your house?
Yeah.
Everybody come in.
Right. Right.
Rick, that'll be in addition to our meeting.
Yeah, in addition to our regular meetings. And we could have it like on a Tuesday night or something like that. It seemed to be successful here. I don't know, I'd just like to get input on that, see what you guys think about it.
What if, I'm just thinking of, if you're having your art.
Mhm.
My way of thinking, I don't know, I'm just thinking about that. So if you did that, maybe the day before or a couple days before, say the Arlington meeting, everybody can get inputs, and then if they want to do something or come to the Arlington meeting, then a lot of that would be settled or
Mhm.
talked about,
Yeah,
But I think if you do it like between us, the two, people just forget about it.
yeah,
But if you have it close to one or the other, then people could talk about, well, I think I'll bring that. People are talking about, we'll send that up there or whatever.
Uh-huh.
We just kind of heads up for that meeting. I mean, just a thought.
yeah. Well, we have, 3 meetings a month scheduled now, physical meetings. I can come in and broadcast from the physical meetings, broadcast on Zoom. Sometimes I have people log on, sometimes I don't. Like tonight, we don't have anybody logged on externally. But it has happened, and people have expressed their thanks for doing that, because that was the only way they could actually get to the meeting at the time. So it gives them an option. I mean, like John Withers up in Connecticut, he's not going to be making it to meetings anytime soon. And that's the only way that he can get to our meetings.
But then pull people from the meeting, though,
I don't think so. I mean,
from the
I
in-person meeting.
don't think so. The people that have been logging on remotely for the most part have been way out in the boonies. We got a guy from Tyler who logs in on a regular basis to virtual meetings. And John Withers. I'd hate to, kind of isolate the guys that are at a long distance from us.
Are you still running?
Yeah. Yeah.
For Arlington?
Yeah. Might be too much.
Yeah, Arlington is probably the one that they're all getting to.
Yeah.
The one that has.
Yeah.
So maybe just keep it that way and just see what happens.
Okay. Anyway, we also have a website up now that's more modern. If you log on to mid-cities-stampclub.com, it's a much nicer website now than it used to be, and we're trying to keep it updated. So Jim Myers is still in charge of the website, but Evan Islam and his group are the ones that are actually hosting the website. And it looks really, really nice. So I encourage you to take a look at it and see what you think of it. That's about all I got.
Thank you, Rick. Back to the subject of the Zoom meetings. I'm afraid holding another meeting as just a Zoom meeting would be like what would occur is what I encountered trying to attend is it Irving, the other place?
Use.
Ulis meeting.
Ulis. I had it on my calendar more than once. And I never got to attend a single one of them, because I either slept through it
I forgot about it
or
altogether.
forgot
Yeah.
about it. After dinner, I just forgot about it, never got to one. Didn't get to some of the Arlington meetings.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid it would fall in that category.
I'm guilty of that myself because I have a long schedule of meetings that I would like to go to, a lot of Zoom meetings online these days. And I don't think I've been to an external one in the last 2 weeks. I'm really feeling bad about that.
What about just extending the Arlington meeting, either an hour before or an hour after, or a chat room?
Yeah, we could do that, I guess.
People join early and chat for an hour or so, then do the meeting, or do the meeting and after it's adjourned, like sticking around and talking, but just by Zoom.
The problem is, I'm running the thing, if I'm doing it there locally, it's on this little computer here. All right. And I've got a microphone hooked into it and I can't hear what's going on here. Okay, I just listen, and here I'm just listening by ear. And I'm not sure how I would set that up on this computer. I guess I could run it on another computer as well, and we could have people come up to it and say, okay, I want to talk to this guy over here, and they could chat interactively that way, but it's not like sitting at home and having a Zoom meeting. I don't know, it's something I'd have to look into to see if I can.
We've also still got members, like a quarter of us here are not computer people
Right.
that have even participated in the Zoom meeting.
Right.
Probably won't.
Right.
Not to speak for them, but I would be my guess.
I know we have several that don't even have email addresses.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
You know.
What's an email address?
However, I still would like to offer the option to people if they want to be active that way. I think we should make that option available to them. It's not costing us anything to
I'm
do it.
wondering if we need it monthly.
Well,
You know,
once a month.
So if you do it again for Arlington, you have people log on, ask that question on it.
Well, I can probably set up a Zoom meeting with those people one-to-one and talk to them about it and see what they say. Yeah.
Or maybe they just would like what they're doing now, is joining us.
Yeah. Sorry.
But I mean, I've done Arlington for my house.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
so that might be what they're doing. Just check it out.
I appreciate the input.
Yeah, a lot of meetings.
Meeting for a
A
meeting.
lot of meetings, yeah.
So is there any other business We do have a few things for sale. I was
Tell
gonna
Peter to put it in the paper.
suggest we take a break for just a few minutes, look at what's back there and purchase anything you might want to purchase if you haven't had a chance to look at it. And we'll then reassemble and do our drawing for our door prizes. Is there any other business we've got today?
It's just good to be back.
There are drinks over there in the cooler, water and,
We didn't have any club books, did we?
pardon?
We didn't have any club books. Did we?
No. As a matter of fact,
Skip's not here, so.
almost Skip's not here and almost no one has turned in any new books.
Well, he's supposed to have had some APS books.
He had some APS books.
Yeah.
The club books, there's very few new ones been
Right.
submitted recently.
Do we have APS books here today?
No.
It's just gonna take a while to get things back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't had any books to look at in a long time.
How many members do we have in Granbury? How many are normally at this meeting?
To me, it's about the same as it is tonight.
Okay, I just went
But, you know, that's been almost 2 years ago.
9 or 10.
Yeah,
We've had some.
We seem to be short on women this time, which is unusual.
Yeah, if Eileen's not here to bring the refreshments, we may kind of dwindle down some.
We used to have Al.
Oh, yeah, man.
We're missing Gary McNamee. We're missing Gary McNamee tonight.
Yeah,
And Judy.
and
And
Justin,
Judy.
Gary, as I said, would have been here, except he's got yes. He said, we couldn't. Fortunately, she's the only. But other than that,
The only gal,
the young couple, the Reimers,
Yeah.
uh,
Julie
we've
and
not
Justin.
heard from them in a year.
Cindy, that usually came with me after Al died, and she will come, she's planning on coming next time. She
I was gonna ask her. I was gonna ask you about that.
I haven't seen her since our last meeting.
So, the numbers in the general vicinity have actually decreased what they were a couple, 3 years ago.
Was there anything in the paper, in the local Granbury paper?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Jim did a very nice job of getting it into the Hood County News. It
Twice.
says,
I still wish, I'm not a writer, but I want to, I still want to ask our new, our little paper for Granbury is superior now compared to what it was. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, it's very, very good. It has 2 sections now, and the editor is superior. So I want to ask if maybe we could do a article on club or something. You know, they don't ever have, they don't ever talk about clubs that are here and there. You know, it'd be good to do that. Maybe we could get extra people.
Or maybe you could get somebody to write a normal, regular column for the paper.
Yeah, yes.
You know,
I
that
have
would help
of course
out.
Seen that years ago in Detroit. When I was
Yeah.
there. Yes, I'll talk to him or ask him, but then I'll ask Gene to write.
There you go.
interestingly enough, Bedwater, the development here that owns this activity center that I live in, they have a new management company. And the management company this past week actually put out an announcement that went to all households in this community. That there was a stamp meeting and that everybody was welcome.
Did a lot of good, didn't
Do
it?
that every month.
It did a lot of good, didn't it?
We're on their schedule. They announce everything that's on their schedule with a special
That's
announcement.
great.
Now,
That's
all
great.
the activities, it's open to the public, that is, it's open to people, but no one in the community has shown any interest in.
Is that how you got here though?
How I got here. No, I started the.
I'll bet you that there's somebody out there that
I
has.
do know of
stamps
3
from
people
from their-
within the community that have collections.
I said, it's just
None of
time to
them are
wrap up
active.
again after this. It's been a year and a half. You know, people have forgotten.
Yes,
It's take a little time.
Don't bite on.
to wrap everything back up again.
yes.
There's a lot of stamps that go out there. When you go buy one.
Also,
I
just
won't hold
as
that against
a
us.
side note, there was a former member, Laurel Purple, who lived here in Granbury. He was an insurance agent. And he was one of the very early members of the Granbury group. We're talking now 10, 12 years ago. He passed away about 2, maybe 3 years ago. His widow contacted me and asked me to help get rid of his collection. He collected US stamps and he collected plate blocks, which plate blocks, nobody buys plate blocks.
Thanks.
It's a dead collection, you know, call it that.
I buy it.
Jim Myers is gonna look at it the next time he comes down for the next meeting. But there's another former member that has passed, whose collection is for sale.
I buy plate blocks.
You collect plate blocks? This guy-
Unfortunately.
This guy has, I believe he's got the Zeps.
Really? I don't buy those. I can't afford those.
His plate block collection is extensive.
Uh,
I mean, he had it in 11 albums.
Oh, wow.
Jeez. That's not hard to believe, though. I mean, if you collect every position,
I don't know if
It's
he
fairly
collected
easy to do.
every position, Rick, but I know he collected every stamp. And from the 30s on, it's complete.
wow.
So are they gonna bring it in here to have you?
No, he's
Because
gonna,
I'd love to see it, plate block of Zips.
I'd like to stick them in my pocket and carry them home.
well, you tell Jim you wanna buy it. Jim will arrange it.
That's right.
What's that?
Ray might be interested in that. He does all the space stuff, but he also does a lot of black stuff.
The Zeps are
I call you.
kind of expensive.
Yeah.
And
I talked to a guy at one of the APS shows one time, and he had complete sheets of all 3 of the Zeppelin stamps. And I asked him how much he was selling them for. He says, you'd have to take a mortgage out on your house to afford one of these. But I went home and looked it up, and there are only 5 known complete sheets of each one of those.
Huh. One of the other things that I saw in his collection of US stamps that I had never seen before. How many of you have ever seen US numbers 3 and 4? There aren't, I had never seen one before, seen them before.
Mint?
Mint.
Oh, my God.
They look like 1 and 2,
Sort of.
sort of.
They're not quite the same. But, I don't remember. But I'd never seen those before.
Yeah.
Well, we want to take a short break then and then we'll do drawing standing. Yeah. Any stuff,
Give them away.
we'll give it to Jim.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Anything doesn't go.
Those 3, see, 13.
Well, thank you for trying anyway.
Anybody want this thing free?
I'll tell you that my
Give it to
wife.
your wife.
I give it to my wife. She's always. If you don't.
Fancy like that.
You think about it, you think about it.
Yeah.
You worry about it. Now the thing was, time would pass, run out, and you missed it again. Be there a year, you think about it.
Don't pick it up, then it goes into mystery.
Does anybody else?
That's just a whole bunch of stamps, probably a lot of better stuff.
They look more modern than I collect.
I just throw stuff in.
Here, Denny.
I don't need them. I was giving them away now. Okay.
This one's from Turaloo. Where's Turaloo?
It's Tuvalu.
Tuvalu.
Can't you tell a V from an R?
Okay, no, I couldn't. Where's that, in the Pacific somewhere?
Yep,
Yeah,
think that
I
country
couldn't tell
just-
you where,
I
but
think they just issue stamps to sell to collectors.
yeah. I probably used to know
That's what you
where it
need,
was
that's
when I
just
was always
to
thinking
put your
about going to
plate
places
box.
that I've never been to. And now I feel like I'm just getting way too old to try going to places way out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, I can, but I don't,
I've got dealers.
my son wants me to go with him somewhere. Yeah, it's close enough, but I want to.
Why bother?
Gift bag or whatever.
I think I'll just stop
There
recording.
are a lot of those places that I love to be stuck at.
Denny, does that envelope go with this?
Yeah.
All of them.
No, no.
There's